Today we celebrate the 22nd Sunday in Ordinary Time. God looks at the heart. God looks at the heart. We tend to get distracted by appearance and jump to conclusions. But God looks at the heart, and that means that our salvation will come through the heart as well. And this is great news for us. In our gospel today, there is a controversy. The Pharisees complained to Jesus that his disciples are eating without having gone through the Jewish ritual of hand washing first. Now the Pharisees have a point. It might have been better for the disciples to wash their hands first for cultural and religious reasons, as well as for reasons to do with hygiene. But Jesus was more concerned about the Pharisees than about the disciples. Why? Because he looked at their hearts. During the pandemic, we have had to limit our social interactions. There were some people we chose not to see out of genuine care for them, out of genuine concern for them. But there might have been others we were happy not to see, and the pandemic provided the perfect excuse. These are two situations which are very similar in appearance and yet very different in content. God looks at the content of our hearts. God wants us to be sincere. He wants us to have integrity. He does not want our words and actions to be empty or for show. In other words, God does not want there to be a disconnect between the heart and what we say or do. Because if there's a disconnect, then the heart becomes lost. And if the heart becomes lost, then it becomes more difficult to be reached and saved. We see the problem of disconnected hearts both in private life and in public life. Exaggerating or even lying for the sake of self-promotion. Saying something because it is popular and not because it is really true. Using words to manipulate others rather than be honest with them. We could even say that there is an epidemic of disconnected hearts in our society today, which is why there seems to be so much distrust between people. Of course, the trouble is that it is harder to be transparent about the full content of our hearts. We might feel guilty, our past mistakes might be found out, our current struggles might be exposed. Therefore, we feel that we have to disconnect. Otherwise, the sheer burden of what we have to face might crush us. And this is why we need the Sacred Heart. Jesus faced the burden of the entire world and overcame that burden with the divine integrity of the Sacred Heart. When it comes to the Sacred Heart, we want to be as transparent as possible, because in the Sacred Heart we find the medicine of divine mercy for the wounds in our own hearts. There's a religious sister who has been working with the homeless and addicts. She said that we don't burn out when we work from the heart. We don't burn out when we work from the heart. We only burn out when we suffer from the problem of a disconnected heart. From the Sacred Heart, we receive the strength to face the world with our hearts purified and connected. Then our words and actions will be no longer empty or for show. Instead, there will be expressions of God's wisdom and love. In all that we say or do, God's salvation will be working in us, starting from the heart. I wish all of you a peaceful day and a fruitful week. God bless you.